River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan, here along with James. James, say hello.
What's up, Niner Nation?
And on this little half hour, we're going to be talking about probably the most hot topic issue going league-wide. We're talking a little broader than 49ers. We'll tie it into the 49ers because we're definitely a part of the conversation. Same with your Eagles, James. It's the running back situation, the devaluation of the running backs. It has been a massive talking point through the offseason that all started the way I'm going to explain it. It all started with Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, and Saquon Barkley all being offered franchise tags instead of contract extensions. Josh Jacobs had his fifth-year option decline, so he played this year on his fourth year of his rookie contract. He was going to be a free agent. They offered him the tender, and he's not in Vegas right now because he doesn't like it. Tony Pollard, to my knowledge, I believe he signed it, and all's fine in Jerry World, with his contract, not with Zach Martin's contract, but that's another episode. But Saquon Barkley, he didn't want his tenure. And there was a lot of, I'm not going to give credence necessarily to, we offered 13, we offered 14. I'm not going to fan the flames of that speculation. What ended up happening, though, is he didn't sign the franchise tag, or the tender, whatever you're supposed to call it. But he signed a contract that was equivalent to it at $10.091 million with incentives that literally just get it to a little over $11 million, barely any incentives. And then when you look at the rest of the league, I have the whole list here from Sports Track, an amazing website for contract breakdowns. Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry are both earning the AAV of their contract is $12 million and change, and the cash earnings they're earning this year are almost $11 million each. James Conner is only earning $8.5 million. Austin Eckler did get incentives added to his $8.5 million. That equated to just a hair over $1 million because he had the wherewithal to try to get traded back in March. And then all they did was, hey, I think they gave him a little bit of signing bonus money, but then they said, here's $1 million worth of incentives, not extra money. Here's converted signing bonus money. So the actual money didn't grow, but the potential for money grow. So yeah, Austin lost his fight. Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, both of them took pay cuts. Alvin Kamara, he hasn't been asked to take a pay cut, but he's restructured his contract a couple times. But the Saints are just a hot mess with the cap in general. And then beyond there, no one else is really making money besides Bijan Robinson, because he just was a first-round draft pick. Everyone else, except, here we go, Christian McCaffrey, tying this into San Francisco. Christian McCaffrey has the most expensive contract, where the AAV is $16 million a year. But I actually want to see if I can share my screen, because this would be cool for the viewers to see as well. If I can blow this up without showing you anything else, maybe. Possibly.
Hey,
can you see it? Here we go. This was just some fun for YouTube I wanted to show you. It visualizes what I'm talking about with Christian McCaffrey. Last year, we only paid him just shy of $700,000 because the Panthers paid off down here $345,000 of the base salary, $4 million of a signing bonus, and $3.2 million of a restructure and a workout bonus. This year, we did get a restructure done, so the base salary is only $1 million, and then there's $2 million in change. That's going to be paid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times, including these void years. But next year, he's not just making, or this year, he's not just making the $1 million plus the $2 million restructure bonus. he's also getting $8.5 million for a signing bonus and almost $10 million of a restructure bonus on Carolina's paycheck. So that's why we are able to hold Christian McCaffrey for as cheap as we do. Next year, yeah, he's going to go up to $13 million, and the year after that, he's going to go up to $14 million. And then we have those void years, but that's as much in the weeds as I really wanted to get into this. I just wanted to show you all. There we go. That should stop sharing my screen. Hopefully I'm back. But yeah, I just wanted to show you all that no, we're not paying Christian McCaffrey $16 million, and we're not working some kind of magic with that. The magic is that the Panthers took a crap load of money off of our plate, and then he agreed to 2 void years for a restructure. So at least last year and this year, we're not even paying him $2 million, or not even paying him $3 million technically. Next year in 25 is a whole nother story, but that's how we can hold on to Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the league objectively. And but yeah, now that I got all that off my chest and hogged 6 minutes, James, I'll open the floor to you. What do you think of this running back situation that we got going on? Like,
well, I mean, it's just indicative of where the league is at right now. You know, basically, we talked about it, you know, where you need a quarterback to win. That's why quarterbacks get paid the most. And how many teams who win the Super Bowl win it because of a running back? And it's not, to look back on it, like, really just the progression of the league, how everything's become pass, where running backs, when they come in as a rookie, it's I would say probably one of the easiest transitions for a position. If anything is going to be running back, if you're going to be a good running back in this league, it's usually going to show up year one, if you're going to be good. And because of the rookie wage scale, they don't get paid that much. And basically every time they take a handoff, it's like taking a car off a car lot. You know, every mile that you put on that car devalues the car. And that's the same way with running backs. That's just what's going on. Now, you know, this is not my idea that I'm about to say. I don't know where I got this. I heard somebody say it, and I can't cite it, but it is not my idea. However, but starting maybe a pool where running backs, if they out-earn their contract, they get a little bit extra money in their paycheck at the end of the year if they out-earn their contracts. And you do this because basically you want people to be paid what they're worth, you know. And I'm not saying that running backs aren't worth anything. They are worth something. They do help teams. They're just not the primary reason that teams win Super Bowls. And if you look at like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they had a LeGarrette Blount on a 1-year team-friendly deal. They had A.J. Ajayi with a rookie contract, and they had Corey Clement, an undrafted free agent, you know. So that's why, like, there's so much value in lower picks and finding cheaper options that teams just built that way. So if you're going to sign a guy or you want to be a running back, there needs to be some sort of pool, I think, so that if they outperform their contract or if they make, 1,000 yards or whatever, they get, they should get part of that pool, and it should not count against the cap, so that teams will be able to pay these running backs more in line to what, they should be, I guess, in comparison with a team, because they are on the offense and they are still helping you win. But we've seen that the base salaries just aren't coming up, and they're probably never going to. The way the league has gone to now is quarterbacks. So having like a pool of money that teams can draw from to pay a running back, or maybe do something like in baseball, have arbitration. Like if if you're in the league for 2 years and after 2 years you outperform your contract, you can go to arbitration and they can come up with a settlement amount to supplement how well you're doing on the field that year, you know. So there's ways around it. I don't think it's ever gonna. I don't think it's ever gonna be where we're paying running backs like quarterbacks, because it's just not how things are done anymore. But I do think, you know, since the rest of the offense has come up to a certain tier, good running backs should also bring up to like some sort of tier in a way. But I get base salaries is not the way to go, so they need some sort of incentive pool money that teams can give them. I mean, that's one idea. I don't know if you have any others or heard any others, Dan.
Mike Florio's partner on PFT had that idea, I remember, and another commentator I love, Rich Eisen, he basically said the same thing you did. He heard that could be a possibility, or that should be something that should be considered, I should say. But I guess my own little eulogy for the position, because really it's not going away, but the days of Christian McCaffrey's contract, Alvin Kamara's contract, Ezekiel Elliott, and Derrick Henry's contract, they're over, really. Like, it just makes Derrick and Nick Chubb and Christian just that much more of an outlier, because they beat the longevity, or at least Christian has now. And obviously the jury's still out on how Derrick does this year, because we're all just waiting for the floor to fall out on Derrick Henry after he had a 2,000-yard rushing year. And he still, last year, still played up to his contract, in my opinion. But to a point that you were making, no, a running back hasn't literally carried a team to the Super Bowl. In the nature of the game, we've stepped away from the old school ground and pound, run it down their throats, maybe pass it 12, 15 times a game. We don't do that anymore. That is the reality that we're in. And a player I definitely forgot to talk about at the top, that I definitely should have, Jonathan Taylor with the Indianapolis Colts. Oh man, this situation's a mess. He was a second round pick, so he doesn't have a first round or a fifth year option, because he was picked in the second round, pick like 40, 41, something like that. And he's on the last year of his contract. And Mr. Jim Irsay has said in more or less words, no, we're not giving you a contract. You're just playing out this last year, and then we're going to see what happens. Going to let him walk into free agency, or we're going to franchise tag this guy. And the way that he's playing this game with Jonathan Taylor specifically is you're going to hold out and you're not going to get paid, or you're going to play on this and we're going to pay you exactly how we want, a la carte. Like, that's at least how he's acting. And Jonathan Taylor is really in as much of an awkward position as any of these other guys that we've talked about. Like, Tony Pollard is playing ball. He's giving Jerry the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, when you look at Josh Jacobs is trying to do the same thing. Josh Jacobs has taken it a step further. He's not even in Vegas right now. Jonathan Taylor's still here in Indiana. But no, what Jim Irsay's doing is being far more vocal about it than Al Davis is, in saying, did you watch that clip I sent you where someone asked him about Jonathan Taylor, and hit the start of his response is the most beautiful nonsense gold I've heard from him say in a while. It literally starts with him saying, well, if I woke up and died tomorrow and Jonathan Taylor falls out of the league, the league's still going to go on fine and dandy. Earmuffs, okay, never mind, not earmuffs. What are you talking about? This guy's telling you to pay him and you say, oh, well, I can't because we're all going to die anyway. What are you talking about?
But it's just got, like, that was the start of it, and now it's gotten even worse, because like sources are coming out of the Indianapolis Colts saying that Jonathan Taylor has back pain from a non-football injury. So we're going to put him on the non-football injury list. And guess what? Withhold his salary.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next thing you know, Jonathan Taylor comes out and says, never had back pain. There is no back pain. Get better sources. And so, like, this has become a freaking circus.
Oh, yeah.
It's
unsurprising that Jim Irsay of all owners has turned this into a circus.
I mean, yeah, on this show, we had a little respect for Irsay when he took on Dan Snyder, and we're like, yeah. Now he's back into the corner where we're like, you're just a jerk right now.
This is the Jim I'm used to seeing, because listeners, I live up here in Indiana. This is more in line with the Jim that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy that it's gotten to this, and I just don't.
It's what it is. Like I was saying, this is just the nature of where football has gone. We are very, very pass heavy. Defensive backs are just going to keep getting torched because it's so focused on tricking them. And you get all the money, you get all the highlights, you get all the glam. When Patrick Mahomes bombs a pass on you, when Josh Allen bombs a pass on you, when Burrow bombs a pass on you, it's so pass centric heavy. The days of the pocket passer like Tom Brady, dunking it off to whichever one of the 15 running backs he'd always dunk it off to, that's not happening anymore. It's vertical. Ground and pound doesn't exist anymore. So it's where I don't have an answer. That's not what I'm trying to say.
I'm not even there right now. Now I'm like Irsay. He's supposed to be a guy. He's supposed to be a man. He's supposed to act better than this. You don't tell your medical staff that, hey, make sure this guy has some injury to where I don't have to pay him, because that's what it seems like is going on to me. Like, if you think that Jim went out of his way to get a reporter to use a source to I don't think that he got.
You think he is the source?
So I think somebody's the source, because they're telling this to Ian Rappaport, they're telling this to Adam Schefter, they're telling this to Mike Florio, and they trust that source. They look to that source and say, hey, this is a good source. So when sources come out and say that Jonathan Taylor has a back injury, it's supposed to be a good source. It's most likely a team source, right? So I'm saying the team source that is talking to Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, Mike Florio, and all these people is compromised. That source is compromised, and I believe that Irsay is behind telling the source, hey, this is the way we're going. And I think that source is compromised. I don't think Adam Schefter or anybody are making up sources. I don't think that. I think that the source that they're getting it from is being puppeted by Jim Irsay, and they've gotten information from that source in the past. Therefore, they trust that source to say what he is saying.
I wouldn't put it past him if that's exactly what was going on, just because I'm aware of how insane Jim Irsay is. I was laughing so hard. I wish I sent it to you guys as a YouTube video instead of in the ESPN app, but I literally was confused. I thought the clip was broken or something, but no. I watched it a couple more times today. Literally, he starts that answer with, oh, well, if I die and Jonathan Taylor's out of the league is just going to go on fine and dandy. What? Like, yeah, no, it's not unfounded to have the theory that you did. But really, I guess the question is, what can you do? You could put the team above anything else that you can do, like Saquon did. You could hold out like Josh Jacobs is doing. You could, I don't.
They're gonna.
You could take a pay cut. You could take a pay cut.
I'm going to tell you how this is going to play out. Jonathan Taylor's not going to show up. They're going to cut him. Like, nobody's going to.
You don't think Jim's going to try to get something out of him?
No.
He's well played beyond the second round pick that he was worth.
No, I don't think he's going to get, because I don't think anybody wants to give up anything of value for Jonathan Taylor. Like I think Jim Irsay's price is going to be too high, and nobody's going to want to give it up, and then he's going to be forced to cut him, or Jonathan Taylor's going to have to sit out a year, or something like that. Like I just don't think this ends with Jonathan Taylor getting some sort of big contract and some sort of big deal or anything like that. It's going to be basically, I don't think he's going to be on the Colts anymore. Like they're going to end up cutting this guy.
Oh no, come 2024, however this plays out, like unless some miracle from God happens, no, he's not going to be a Colt in 24.
He's not going to be a Colt. He's just, I think he's calling Jim Irsay's bluff, and is going to say, well, I just won't play for a year. That'll keep the, I'll keep working out, whatever, but you can go into the season without a running back, and I'll sit out the season if I have to. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Jonathan Taylor's either going to get cut, released, or his contract's just going to expire, and then that's it.
If he, I read that if he holds out, it becomes restricted free agent instead of unrestricted free agent, though. So he's got to keep that in mind. Like,
which basically means this.
Somebody offers a contract and Jim can match it, or he goes to that team, right?
Right, and they pay like some sort of compensation with a pick. But what would really happen is basically they would come to Jim and say, "Hey, what do you want for this guy?" That's to get him, like, because you want to get the player, so you have to still deal with the owner to make sure you're going to get the player.
Yeah.
Offering him a contract and getting him to sign, and then going back to Irsay and Irsay saying he's going to sign, he's going to do it. It's not going to work. Things in the league don't happen that way anymore. So
yeah,
if a team
this is all coming back to me because we went through all this with Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah. So like a team's going to have to offer Jim Irsay something if they want to sign Jonathan Taylor. But I mean, is it really going to be anything of value? Is it really going to be anything? Because basically, like, I don't think he's not going to be a Colt, and yeah, he's going to play somewhere else and probably not going to play for the Colts ever again, is what I say.
Well, I guess to ask one last question about this, what do running backs do next year? We're in training camp now. There's nothing else that players can do. Like, they've made their stance. Like, the guys that took a pay cut, like Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon, they took a pay cut. Josh decided to leave. Tony and Saquon decided to stay. Jonathan Taylor, we've talked, is in his own mess. Same with Austin Eckler, got his deal, even though he didn't win anything either, like that he wanted. What's going to happen next year? What do Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb and Christian McCaffrey tell these guys? Like, that did get money, and these are probably the last guys that are going to be getting that kind of big contract. Like, what do? So is it going to be one of those solutions like that you talked about before? Like, does a massive league-wide holdout need to happen? Like, what's going to happen next year?
Well, we have to figure out when the labor agreement is up, because that's when it'll get addressed
6 years.
again.
6 years.
So yeah, I don't think anything's going to happen for another 6 years.
Really?
Yeah.
You just flat out the CBA they're locked into until 2029. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? You're under a current CBA. You really don't have that much power. Everything's been collectively bargained until 2029. So you're gonna have. I mean, this is the way it's going to be for 6 years now. That's what I think. I don't think. I mean, unless running backs,
maybe it's 30. I'm having a brain fart now. It's 29 or 30. But yeah, it's a while. I'm
just saying, unless there's going to be some sort of league-wide strike for running backs, which I don't see happening. Yeah, I just don't think things just getting any better like that overnight in the next 6 years until the CBA is up for renegotiation.
It's just really unfortunate. It probably is just going to be players just going to have to bite the bullet on it, like ride the franchise tag. Maybe if enough players, no, the contracts aren't going to be going up. So, I mean, it's just really, really awkward to be a running back right now. It's just, there's no incentive to be a running back. Kind of like, I don't know, it's like when people ask Travis Kelce, like, why he's getting paid not $30 million a year when he's as productive. He is a top 5 receiver and he's a tight end and he's getting paid like $12 million versus the 30 that Tyreek Hill's getting paid, or the 25 that another receiver's getting paid. Like, he's not even, Debo's making more money than him. Like,
right.
Not to make it a whole nother thing, but no, I guess listeners, I'll leave you, or I guess we're leaving you with that this is just one of those moments in football life that just kind of sucks. Like, not to be so dour, but this just really sucks.
And honestly, like, if you're a kid in Pee-wees right now and you're hoping to be an NFL player, don't be a running back. You would probably have a better career as a kicker. And make more money as a kicker than to be a running back, because
it's not like our teams are really making it any better. Like, I mean, the Eagles let Miles Sanders walk. You know, Miles Sanders had his best season with the Eagles last year, and they let him walk because they don't spend money on it, you know, and they've been as successful as they have because they haven't spent money on a running back. So until there's some sort of incentive for running backs in offenses to win games and be the primary source of offense, which is not going to happen, that's how teams are going to value running backs. It's just the way it is. Yeah.
And
we've adapted more of the, again, like I was saying, the pass heavy game, but now the stable of running backs is really a staple. Like, you have a stable behind Christian, which again, we only got Christian because Carolina took so much money off of our plate that we had to pay him. But even behind Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Ty Davis Price, Jordan Mason, that's a whole stable behind him. So it's not like we're kind of having our cake and eating it too. We have a stable and we got Christian McCaffrey. Like, and potentially Trey Lance can be a runner if Trey Lance gets on the field.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I don't know. I wish we had a solution, but we don't.
We don't.
This just sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
As cheerful as I can be about that. James, where can people listen to us? I got no better way to transition this.
Guys, make sure if you like this channel and you like our show that you subscribe. It really helps us out. Go and subscribe on our YouTube channel, which is at Niner Nuts. Also, please follow us on Twitter and Facebook, which is also at Niner Nuts. And then also on TikTok now, as we have a TikTok page at Niner Nuts as well for that. Guys, if you review our show and you want to send us the review, you can email us at 49ernuts@gmail.com. That's 49ernuts@gmail.com with your review. And every 5-star review will be read on the air. Get our merchandise at TeePublic. I put that out this week, so now you can actually purchase our shirts at TeePublic. And also, guys, keep listening because there may be some big news coming up in the next couple of weeks with us. So please keep listening. Please keep subscribing. Please keep following us on Twitter.
Yeah, and above all else, listeners, heed the words of Jim Irsay. No matter what happens, we're all going to die, but the NFL will live on.
I mean, I'm going to live on in heaven. If that's, I know that for a fact. But yeah.
I got nothing.
All right, outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
Catch you on the next one, guys.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.